Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Waylon the Indoor Farmer. And it's nice to be back, everybody. It's been 3 or 4 weeks. I know exactly. I've been talking about it the last few episodes. I moved to a house. I bought a home. It's got a lot more space, a lot more potential, and I'm super excited to just get going with all these projects, and I have to get prioritize myself here. But as you may notice, my format's changed a little bit here. I've spent some time learning the program that I use and just sort of figuring things out on my own. There will come a time where I want to get even more specific with things and get more in-depth with the editing tools and stuff like that. But for now, this makes me happy. It kind of models another creator that I watch. If you see this, bottom left-hand corner there, it just kind of gives you an idea of all the sites that you can find me, the Indoor Farmer, on. If you look up Waylon the Indoor Farmer, that usually will find you on YouTube. It's a little easier. I think I'll probably have to fix some of that stuff at some point too. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong there, but it's okay. That's all about the learning process, and I want to take you guys, the viewer, with me. Come along. This time I learned a lot. I had to move and getting things set back up, trying not to kill the fish. The couple of cannabis plants that I have are actually probably not going to be the greatest first try, but that's during the move I didn't want to build a grow room and all that kind of thing, and I didn't have the space there, so this is going to be a lot better coming from here to the point when I can actually get it dialed in. There's plenty of room to work with and plenty of potential. This episode is a little bit longer than I typically go, but it's a lot of catching up. I do have some interesting developments, because I talked about it before, how there's a church that I helped out getting their aquaponics in order and set up. Some things happened and some people weren't really involved as much anymore, so it wasn't as it didn't make as much sense for me to make the trip, because I was just volunteering, trying to learn and trying to get just to help them out. And anyway, I thought that was kind of beyond, or I think I was past that point. But they actually got a hold of me, and I was excited. There's a woman who's on the board there that's really interested in keeping it going and all that. So you'll see in this video, I have a few clips of just getting it started on a new set of seeds sprouting at the church that I do go to sometimes. It's not a church that I attend. I don't, but I may start here soon. We'll see, just to meet some of the people that I help out over there. But in the beginning here, this is stuff that was still set up at the old place. For some reason, my video is choppy, and I pause. Or can I figure that out? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, there's definitely something going on with my video, little technical issues here. Give me one moment. No rush, So I just need to maybe close a few things that I had going. That might make a difference here. Okay. So, let me give it a shot. Yeah, as you can see, this is all the stuff that I had growing at the old place before I left. It looked nice. I did give some people some of that basil. I don't know if anyone's used it, but it was looking pretty nice. As you can see, it was growing out of control over there. So yeah, this was the setup. This was the little podcast studio / grow area that I had at the last place. Yeah, it's not all that much space. You know, it's more than I've had, you know, at other times in my life. But hey, I mean, it was, I did what I could with what I had, and I'm going to show you a few pictures here of just kind of what I had to do the last few days. I did a transplant on the cannabis the first time, and that was interesting. And then I also had to, I clipped off this lettuce here that had all the seeds growing. Again, this is called black-seeded Simpsons, so it's not a head of lettuce. It's not going to produce like you might think of from the grocery store. But yeah, there's the water that's pretty nasty. But the fish have clean water. I mean, so I want to know, I got to figure out whether that's an issue, whether that's going to become a bigger problem on a bigger setup. I want to set up some kind of a system to wash and clean those clay pebbles to reuse them. But yeah, I actually ended up, all these fish, that baby there did not make the trip. I could not find it. It's probably dead. Poor thing. But anyway, the two cannabis plants here, that's after the transplant. Yeah, I was kind of foolish, and I thought I could transport the entire grow bed setup, kind of keeping it whole with the plants in there and the clay pebbles and whatever water's in the bottom. And I did transport it that way. It was extremely heavy. I had to lift this thing off by myself at night. It was wah wah. I know it's a sob story, but I did get it to my new place, and yeah, none of the plants really survived besides the ones that I cut off and gave to people. And the stuff that you see loose there was not mine anyway. Yeah, so you know, I'm here at the new place, and now I can get things in order and actually build a much better setup, and actually multiple setups. I have plenty of room here. As you can see, this plant, it looks pretty to someone who probably doesn't grow, but it's actually, there's actually a lot of problems with how I took care of these. I mean, I didn't have a proper setup for them. They weren't getting enough light. Was a big one. Light's going to be a big one. Oh, here you go. There's a picture of the wind-whipped last of the veggies. So yeah, at the new house, you see that I got the aquarium set up on the floor in the basement, so I can actually leave it there and give myself more grow room above that. That's the idea. But I'm also going to repurpose a couple of old chairs that are really sturdy metal chairs. These chairs here, they're not comfortable chairs by any means, but they will work well as something to build upon. Oh, there's my dog Mia. And for some reason my video is playing a little slow. I'm using a little more tech this time. I have a separate monitor so I can do more things with the production during the video. So it's a lot of learning, a big learning curve. I spent a long time today trying to figure out how to do all this, sort of, for the most part. Anyway, I got some of them. I mean, I got my logos there for the websites I go to that I'm on anyway. I'm sure there are more that I should be on. I don't know which ones are the best ones. Obviously YouTube is the biggest, easiest one. A lot of these other ones, unfortunately, they don't allow you to put up unlimited numbers of megabytes of content or gigabytes, and they have limits, and until you start to pay them or until you have such a large following. And so it's hard to get a following if I can't put my videos up. So I use the YouTube and I use Rumble. They allow me to put as many videos up as I want, but Rumble, you know, they have their own issues. They will skip me from the Rumble sometimes. So it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to do what I can on that front. That'll get better as time goes on. But yeah, right now you see me just doing the first transplant I've ever done on the cannabis. You know, I didn't really know if I was doing anything wrong. I was told how to make space for the seedling. and that's about it. I mean, you know, I am happy with the fact that I'm in the new house, but I'm not happy with the first run on trying the cannabis. So I mean, it's probably not going to turn out real well. It'll be a learning experience. I need more materials and more equipment. So all of that will come in time. Just going to skip ahead a little bit here. Yeah, make a space for the cup, and then you can pull it out and put it in that space, and that's pretty smart. A friend of mine, my mentor, I guess you could say, has taught me some things, and he told me the brand of soil to get, but I got the wrong soil of that brand. And you know, just the soil that absorbs a little bit more of the moisture is the one that I wanted, because you don't want all the water to run out, which is what basically happened. And it didn't run all over the floor, but it did fill these plates up, and it was not pretty for a little while there. But it was just trying to make it by until I get over here. Got so many projects to get going at the new place here, and it's exciting, but maybe a little overwhelming. Got to get my priorities in order, but that's okay, because it's all moving towards the same goal, and that goal is going to be, you know, knowledge at first. You know, clearly I'm still at the hobby stage, but in this new house, I have a lot more space that I could build a, you know, grow setup for, say, you know, like basil or anything that I could go and get specific grow, like contract grows, or places that will just that would just take however much of something that I grow. Because there's plenty of places that will say, you know, basil is my example, because I've heard it before. They'll say, I'll take as much basil as you can grow. That's not necessarily a contract grow. It's more like just almost a sure thing. I mean, it's not nearly as sure as having a contract, but you know, if you get several places lined up like that, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 places that all say they would love to take as much basil as they can, and that way they would buy you out. You know, me especially, since I don't know how big I would be, but it's not going to end up being so big that I make more than I can sell, and if I do it right, as long as I, you know, target the right crops and things. It's really funny looking back here though at these pictures, because as you can see, this one that's not wanting to grow straight and looks funny, it's much shorter than the other one. But you'll see later in this video the next transplant that I did, and it's actually the opposite now. So the first one that grew up fast is kind of like seems like it's already producing, and it's like it's going to be done. Its whole cycle is going to be over with, and it's kind of sad. But I'm seeing what I can do. I'm seeing if I can go back into veg stage, they call it. I'm getting used to all the terminology. I try not to use so much terminology on the show, at least until I am a lot more proficient with it. I want to use anything I can use, any terms to make it simple to understand from somebody who is in a similar perspective as I am, which is a new grower, new to almost any of this that you could think here. Every part of the growing process, not just indoors, not just aquaponics. So it's all of that combined. I mean, this was a lot of learning process, and I have taken it to heart, and this new, you know, new drive that I have on the new setup is going to be, you know, I forgot, that's it's called Route 66. I was told to use a quarter teaspoon of that in a half gallon, and it's in each one of these we're supposed to get a quarter gallon, but that's when all the water just comes right out. So that's all right though. It didn't make that big of a mess. I made a huge mess when I took this whole thing down. I did most of it all by myself one night, late into the night, and it was a mess. Like, I should not have done that by myself. I had buckets of water, and I was using the pump to get buckets of water. I kind of felt like I Love Lucy in that pie scene in the old, the classic movie. where like the bucket of water was overflowing because I was looking at something else, doing something else, and distracted, and it overflowed a couple times because I did that more than once, and it was a mess. I'm surprised I didn't fall and break my neck trying to step on all these clay pebbles on the floor, but I got through it, and I'm here, and that's what I'm excited about, because not only am I helping back out at the church, and we're getting that back going and getting things, hopefully getting multiple people on the same page so that we can have more help in the case where somebody's on vacation or somebody decides that they need to move or whatever it is. So that being said, I'm going to push for both my projects at home and multiple other projects from other people. I've been talked to about from a couple companies nearby here that are interested in getting aquaponics systems set up, and we'll see. I mean, if I can get involved in that, it sounds pretty promising, and not necessarily a job, as it were, but just a project that I can record, and I can take all that content and make more shows and show you guys what we did, and it's going to be exciting. It's just a lot more substantial amount of money going into the bigger professional setups that these guys are talking about, so that should be a lot more interesting and get things ramped up here. Yeah, right now you'll see that I'm looking at this and just perplexed. Just like I am just at a loss, because the water just went straight through basically, and everyone was telling me, oh, they take a lot of water. Well, I guess they took it and it just came straight back out the bottom. It's a sad story. So yeah, there's the two plants before I transplanted them. I guess I mixed these pictures up a little bit, not terribly, but yeah, they're a little bit bigger than that now, quite a bit bigger, I guess, but they're not bushing out like you see a lot of other ones do. And I'll be honest, all I've given them was aquaponics water from the fish tank. And I have not given them any other nutrients besides that Route 66 that I showed up. I'm not saying that to brag. I think that's a big portion of the reason why you see them looking like they are now. But yeah, like this one got a lot bigger recently. This one on the left here, you'll see. But it's still doesn't seem like it's right, because it's been at least a couple months, maybe 3. I should know that better, but I'll find out here soon. I mean, look at this. I had to hold it up because it was falling over. But yeah, that thing just sprouted and got way higher or taller than this one here. This one looks pretty, but it's so tiny. There's nothing to it. It's like a Charlie Brown tree. So I'm going to, this is going to be the new pots that they're in. These like soft bags. They breathe easier this way. They can take more water in this way, and they can expand their roots and everything. That's just the next step. It's another transplant. But then I have this sort of trough that I kept from the last place I lived in. It was just some junk that, I keep a bunch of these, we'll say, gems, like a pack rat. Keep something that, I think might be useful later. But anyway, this kind of keeps in the water if anything goes through, which it does. So I'm glad that I had that. Yeah, you can see now the two plants had switched. But anyway, this is the church that I help out, and it looks like this is before we took all the dead plants out that had died, since nobody was really doing anything with it, and I stopped going. But then the fish are still alive. Everything there was good, and so we took everything out of the grow beds, and then we reseeded everything. And I had a video of that, but I don't seem to know where that went. Yes, this is after we reseeded. and some of the sprouts already coming up, so it's nice. It should be better this time. I've done a few things to improve. We've covered the hose that's bringing water from the tank out to the, see that hose there on the side. It's covered in metal or metallic tape, so that way it keeps the sunlight out, or the lights from the grow lights, because that was growing algae on it, so it looks a lot better now. And a few other things that we've done, but yeah, I've actually lowered all these lights, and we've gotten everything seated now. Whoa. That is not what I meant to do. We'll just go ahead and close that. And we'll pull me up. Oh, we're going to close that too. Anyway, that's alright. I must have hit something to slide it over, but we'll just go ahead and finish out this episode. I mean, there was a couple things that I was just on the brink of being able to do, and in the editing and production side of things, but I didn't quite make it there. Let me see if I can pull back up and make sure I don't have the end of the video still to go. Yeah, guys, I'm really excited about it. I mean, it's not something that I think is going to come quick and easy, but it's something that I think is worth it. And if I can get other people, see the cool 3D thing. I figured out how to do that myself. I mean, that's it's got to be genius, right? Genius level editing skills. No, but seriously, moving into the house and all the work I've been doing to get all this to feel like a home, and you know, little projects that come up that you don't even think about afterwards. Man, that's half the battle, I swear. Some of the stuff that you thought, oh man, I didn't think about that until I bought the house, and then boom, here you are with issues. Yeah, this is good too. I feel like this is gonna really help me learn more, working on multiple systems and different ways of doing things. And that's the thing I love about it, is there's tons of ways to do it. There's tons of different things that you could use, methods and materials. So yeah, guys, that's episode 20. You know, I really appreciate anybody who's been watching, and I know that one day this will take off, and I'll get a little bit bigger and build bigger setups and have bigger commercial systems and have more interviews, and it'll get better and better, and it's a passion that I have, and yeah, appreciate it. Hey guys, yeah, check it out on the bottom left there: YouTube, Rumble, Locals, Instagram. I got Vimeo. So yeah, check me out, and we'll see you next week.